who covered for Cardinal McCarrick. Now, of course, if you're not familiar, Cardinal McCarrick has been accused of all sorts of, very horrible things, all sorts of misconduct towards various people. A number of allegations have been brought forward against him. So much so that the Vatican actually laicized him not long ago. And you probably are aware that Archbishop Vigano, who's no longer a Catholic, he's now a set of Contis, but Archbishop Vigano in 2018 accused Pope Francis of covering up some things related to Cardinal McCarrick and covering for McCarrick. And not only that, but actually elevating him to a high position. Some of y'all also may be aware that McCarrick doesn't appear that he is going to be tried for some of these accusations. There was something in the works, but at this point, he's 94 years old, and it was determined that he is not capable of undergoing a trial because he's not all the way there. So here's some questions that we need to explore. In 2018, again, Vigano released a letter, 11-page letter, claiming all sorts of things, including which the claim that Pope Francis knew about Cardinal McCarrick and his problems and the allegations as an accused sexual predator, and that Francis covered for him, and not only covered for him, but elevated him. Is this claim accurate? Number two, did Pope Francis shelter Cardinal McCarrick, or was it Archbishop Vigano who sheltered McCarrick and then attempted to shift the blame onto Pope Francis? Did Vigano fail to follow up on allegations about Cardinal McCarrick that were sent to him in his tenure as apostolic nuncio? Why was Vigano rubbing shoulders with Cardinal McCarrick and lauding him in public, even though he had long known about allegations concerning McCarrick? We're going to explore that question. And then finally, did Vigano act one way while around Cardinal McCarrick and then a very different way when around the Vatican? And did he withhold information from the Vatican about Cardinal McCarrick? Vigano's 2006 letter. He actually wrote a letter in 2006 to the Vatican, giving an exhaustive account of Cardinal McCarrick, what Rome knew, when Rome knew it, what Vigano knew, when he knew it, what Vigano said to Rome, what so-and-so said, what this, that, Cardinal and Bishop said. It's 461 pages. It was released in 2020. And I suspect most people haven't read through any of it. So in 2006, he sounded pretty good. Pretty good. He sounds like he's really concerned about what is taking place and is, asking for this to be investigated further. We also have a 2008 letter from Vigano that we need to briefly read through. This is, again, a side of Vigano that we see that really does appear like he's concerned. There's about to be a scandal that erupts, and he's just simply saying, hey, look, there's some stuff here that we need to look into. Benedict needs to look into this. Benedict did respond by informally asking McCarrick to restrict his travels. McCarrick, was known for traveling all over, receiving awards, giving speeches, just masses, ordinations, all kinds of stuff. Even though he's retired, he was doing all sorts of stuff. He was just all over the place. And Benedict, he did not issue any kind of formal sanctions, but he informally just kind of asked, hey, maybe just kind of restrict your travels. That's 2006. Let's move on to the next one. Vigano is made nuncio in 2011. Vigano was made apostolic nuncio to the United States in 2011 and was frequently informed by Cardinal McCarrick about his travels. So Vigano, well after this, 2006, 2008 memorandum, 2011 comes around, he's made nuncio. He already knows of this 2006 decision where, Benedict just kind of asks hey, maybe, just stop traveling and all that. Keep a low profile. Well, whenever he's made a nuncio, he was informed by McCarrick about his travels extensively. And this 2020 Vatican report documents it in great detail. Next, we see, after he's made nuncio, we start to see the Vigano and McCarrick dynamic duo. From December 2011, Vigano is frequently seen rubbing shoulders with McCarrick at public events. We'll find out why that's important in a little bit, although you can already probably start to ascertain why that would be an issue, especially in light of what Vigano already knows and what he has already said back in 2006, 2008. He's going to these events with McCarrick knowing what he knows back in 2006 and 2008, knowing all that. When he becomes nuncio, things start to look a little different, and he starts to go to these events with McCarrick and is even publicly lauding him, saying, like, you're loved by us all. Now, I mean, I have a question for you. If you know that somebody is accused multiple times from multiple sources of this kind of behavior, maybe you can't just come out and publicly like attack the guy or something at a meeting, but would you really say this? I don't know. Seems a little odd. In fact, Vigano was confronted about that later on. We'll see what he said. On December 2011, McCarrick wrote to Vigano, I want to express my deepest gratitude to you for your kindness in including me and my secretary in the invitations to the splendid dinner which you enjoyed very much at the nunciature. I don't know about you, but if I'm having correspondence with somebody who's accused by multiple people of this kind of behavior, this isn't what I'm going to say to the guy. I'm probably going to just pull the guy to the side and say, look, we need to have a talk. Some people are making some serious allegations about you. I need an answer. What's going on here? I'm not going to, thank you so much. Your kindness. It was great to having you. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, you're loved by us all. That, I don't know about you, but that's not how I would respond. So it seems to me like there was some kind of shift between 2008 and 2011 when he becomes nuncio. Vigano stated, Your Eminence, I'm very grateful for your thoughtfulness in this regard, and likewise would truly look forward to an opportunity after Easter, either here or at your Eminence's residence, to continue our conversation about such important current issues as freedom of religion and freedom of conscience. Now, again, I just have to ask, is that how you would interact with somebody accused of being a sexual predator? I mean, I'm not talking to them about freedom of religion and freedom of conscience. I'm sorry. We're going to have a different conversation. We're going to have a conversation about the accusations. We're not going to be laughing it up and, it's great to hope I get to see you at the luncheon. And let's talk about some theology and stuff like that. What you're seeing is with the Vatican, he's very critical of McCarrick, but to McCarrick's face, I'm seeing something different. April 2012, McCarrick keeps Vigano apprised of his travels. It's page 374 of the 2020 report. So he's giving him, great detail about what all he's doing. And you'll notice, anytime Vigano talks to him, does he say, hey, wait, I thought there was that thing, from Benedict where you're to, kind of keep a low profile or something like that. Nothing. The video where you could clearly see, Vigano being very, very cordial to McCarrick and saying you're loved by us all, despite the fact that he knows all of this information and had made all of these claims about him back in 2006, informed the Vatican and all that. Here's his comment on that particular video when people raised concerns about, okay, well, this doesn't make sense because back in 2008 or in even 2006, you were warning the Vatican about this guy. But then whenever you become nuncio in 2011, it seems like all that just went out the window. And now you're cool with him and y'all are going places together and you're meeting up with him and y'all are just going back and forth in correspondence and, buddies and all that. And then you're even lauding him in public. Again, this is not what I would say about anybody accused of sexual predation. Whether or not I know if they've, whether or not they've been convicted or not, if I know there's a lot of these accusations out there, I'm sorry, publicly, I'm not saying this. Now, maybe I'm not in a position to come out and say, McCarrick, what are you doing here? Maybe I'm not in that position, but you better believe I'm not going to be saying, oh, you're loved by us all. Oh, let's talk theology. Sorry, this isn't how somebody would react. And again, this is 2012. Let's keep in mind the timeline here, because the timeline is going to be very important for his accusations about Pope Francis later on. But here's what he said in response. This is from NCR, where they asked him, okay, hey, this stuff is resurfacing. This is after 2018. You said all this stuff, but then we're like finding this video footage of you, lauding McCarrick, and some of the things you're saying is adding up. What gives? He says, in response to that video, Vigano said, I was just at the beginning of my mission and no one knew about the measure. Cardinal McCarrick knew because I already told McCarrick repeatedly about this measure taken by Pope Benedict, but I couldn't make the slightest impression that I had something against the Cardinal in public. Let me stop there. But in those private correspondences that he's having with him, whenever McCarrick is telling him he's traveling all over, is Vigano saying, hey, no, there's that thing with Benedict where you're not supposed to be doing this? Or is he just saying, oh, yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Hey, I'll see you at that luncheon. He says, so as usual on these occasions, I made an appreciation. Everybody loves you and so on. But this doesn't mean anything. It doesn't prove anything, he said. Again, this is just not the kind of behavior that you would expect from a person who is concerned about allegations of sexual abuse. And when confronted about it, because there's video evidence that he can't deny, he has to say something. And he's like, well, I couldn't say anything. It's, okay, then don't say anything. Don't say anything at all. It would be better to just not say anything than to say this. It would be best to just say, maybe somebody else can introduce him. June 6th, 2012, McCarrick expresses to Vigano, listen to this, the willingness to be more secluded if Vigano desires it. You heard that right. McCarrick writes to Vigano, 2012. Vigano already knows about all this stuff back in 2006, 2008. Already knows. And he believes, hey, this guy is going contrary to what Benedict said, right? So here's an opportunity to say something. McCarrick brings it up. Hey, I'm doing all this traveling. It'd be nice if somebody else could do it. And if you want me to be more secluded and kind of go into a deeper retirement, I'm all for it if that's what you want. Vigano doesn't respond. He has an opportunity to tell him, hey, no, you need to just go back and, follow what Benedict was telling you and not make public appearances. Vigano doesn't respond when he had an opportunity. So, maybe Vigano's not man enough to just confront McCarrick about it. Maybe he's one of those people. Okay, so maybe it's like, McCarrick has to, start the conversation. Well, here he does, gives him an opportunity. It's set up on a tee for him. All Vigano has to do is say, yeah, probably best for you to kind of, go into a deeper retirement. 2012, doesn't take that opportunity, continues to move on with it. No issue. Doesn't tell him, yeah, you need to go into isolation. There's no record indicating that Vigano followed up on McCarrick's offer to go into a more retirement mode. Instead, Vigano told his staff to set up a meeting with McCarrick, which was scheduled for the 24th of July, 2012, after what Vigano's secretary called McCarrick's extensive travel.